Hello, everyone. My name is Kenny Fedorko, uh, and I want to share something with you. Um, so, when this pandemic hit, it was around St. Patrick's Day, and we. So currently, I am down at the conservatory for FSU Oslo, and my ensemble, a dozen of us, were rehearsing for Romeo and Juliet, and that show was canceled due to the pandemic. And our classes went online, and we did online classes for about 5 weeks. Um, During this time, um, so I've been down here at the FSU Oslo Conservatory for actor training for 2 years, and I have found myself to be depressed during this time. And how could that be, right? I'm down here getting an amazing education with some of the best actors that I've ever met, with some of the best and smartest instructors that I've had. Um, and yet I am burnt out. I'm depressed, right? It seems very selfish and wrong and extremely privileged because I am. But I am now realizing it is in the middle of June now, 3 months after the pandemic hit, that my creativity stems not from just one aspect of myself, not just theater, which it always has. You know, when I moved from New Jersey to Pittsburgh when I was 14 years old, I auditioned for a school musical, Anything Goes, loved it, and I've been acting ever since. I have always been acting. I've always been in a show. Um, from when I was 14 to when I was 26, 27. I was always involved in a show. And I thought, well, this is going to be it, you know? And now I'm here thinking, well, if I'm doing just acting and I'm depressed, what's wrong with me, right? So then this pandemic hit. And after the last day of classes, one of my friends, Nairi Poole, asked if I'd be interested in doing a 21-day meditation challenge, of which I was very interested, um, through the Chopra Center. Then a few days later, I was Googling, creative recovery books or something. Um, how can I embrace my creativity right now? And I found this amazing book, and it has changed my life. Everyone always says, I looked this up on YouTube. Everyone's like, oh, that book will change your life. And I was like, okay, well, I buy into that stuff often. Um, and a lot of people don't, and that's cool. Um, because they're critical thinkers, and that's great. I'm also a critical thinker, but I'm very hopeful, very optimistic in some ways. So I got this book, The Artist's Way. It's a book to, let's see, I'll read it off the screen. A course in discovering and recovering your creative self. And folks, it's done exactly that for me. Um, I have rediscovered myself and my creativity. I'm writing every day. I exercise every morning. I have been memorizing monologues, not as often as I'd like. I've been reading. And I've realized that my creativity stems from so much more than just acting. Like, my whole body is creative. I love doing so much. And so what this is is a foray, a first kind of foray into a grander project that I'm very excited about. I'm also really nervous. Like, I feel really stupid right now doing this because I never thought I would, and I'm afraid of failure. I'm also afraid of success. Ooh. And so what this is is me launching what's going to be a series of interviews with many people, I hope. I am so disgusted with social media. There's so many issues that I have with the world and life, especially institutions. Life and nature is beautiful, but the institutions that we have, the establishments that we have in our lives right now in our society, do not reflect natural law, do not reflect human striving and creativity. They are in some ways helpful to achieve the American dream, but are in many ways barriers to achieving our dreams. And so that's kind of the substance of what I'd like to get to. I have friends from um, all parts of my life, all of who I love very much. And I am going to do a series of interviews with all of the people that I admire and care about and love, to see what they care about. What is their perspective on the divisiveness of our culture? Um, I have a lot of friends with many different opinions, family members who have voted for Trump, friends who have voted for Trump. I myself, I have lately surrounded myself with a lot of quote unquote liberal people, but I am so interested in learning what people care about and what people find important. And then maybe from having a lot of interviews, a lot of talks that will also be shared with you, you can learn something too, and we'll all learn together. So this is, I would like to name my channel Creative Together. Um, see how it goes. Along with this series of interviews, I'm going to make a platform, my website. I'm going to adjust it so I watch a lot of movies and I watch TV less often, but I read a lot of books as well. And I'd like my website to reflect that creative element too. So on my website, I'm going to have reviews of the books that I read, why they're important, also the movies that I watch, why they're important, and why I think they're important, and um, if I like them or not. You know. Also, I think too, like right now, we are in the midst of the spark of the next civil rights movement. Um, and I would like to shout out, there are a lot of people that feel very helpless right now. And I have been lucky enough that I've worked with the Black student body here at FSU Oslo to really get things moving on changing the racist institution that the conservatory is. And we're making good progress so far. I think, though, the Black Lives Matter movement is necessary. It is necessary, but it is not sufficient for what we need in our culture. It it doesn't go far enough in establishing justice. And um, you know, what about the Me Too movement? How about corruption? And this is where I will do my shout out to the organization called Represent Us. Right here, represent.us. It's an anti-corruption organization that I've canvassed for and that I've supported for a while now. Whenever I have the time, whenever I had the time, now I have the time and I'm getting back to it. So please go and check out Represent Us. It's in a nutshell, my belief is that to change the power dynamic, the toxic power dynamic in our society today, we need to have institutions that shift with the times, right? Our institutions, no matter what legislation the majority of the public cares for and wants to see enacted, our government, our national leadership will not pass those laws because of large special interests and dark money interests. So what this initiative is about is cracking the nut that is that corrupt establishment in Washington and also in states around the country as well. Some are more corrupt than others. And it's not just by blue and red standards, Yeah, this movement is about listening. It's about helping the government to actually listen to us. And I'll leave you with this final note because I think this is already a pretty long video. Man, I can't wait for these hangouts. Gonna learn so much. That to be able to change things, not only do institutions need to listen to us, but we need to listen to each other more. And what does listening mean, right? It's not conservative or liberal. It's not Republican or Democrat. It's the spectrum. The spectrum is not conservative and liberal. The spectrum is: do you listen or do you not listen? And where do you stand on that scale? This is an experiment to learn to listen better. I'm gonna mess up a lot, and I don't have any editing material on my computer, so I'm not gonna be editing these really. They're just gonna be raw, I think that's important though, because words are important. And listening is important, and it's important that we listen to each other. So let's get to learning how to listen better, and from that to create together. So, okay, thanks so much, and let's get to it. Remember, represent us, represent.us, anti-corruption. Thank you.